If you analyze some of the deadliest murders in the past 5 years, you'll find a common denominator. And no, it's not Christian nationalism. It's not white supremacy. The furry ideology, which is a subculture of the transgender ideology, is a pipeline to extreme violence. And new reporting indicates that Thomas Crooks was a participant. And then Miranda Devine says, Crooks appears to have been interested in furries and exploring gender identity. She writes, he described himself with the pronouns they, them on the platform DeviantArt, which is one of the biggest online hubs for furry art and the furry community. She says, a furry is someone who has an interest in anthropomorphized animal characters, often as a sexual fetish. 2 accounts linked to Crooks' primary email were found on DeviantArt under usernames Epic Microwave and The Epic Microwave. The account suggests he had an obsession with scantily clad cartoon characters sporting muscle-bound male bodies and female heads. Wow, that sounds really demented. You know, we can sit here and say it's always the people you most expect. It's always these degenerate perverts and their weirdo fetishes. And it's fine to say that because it's also just good to recognize that you consciously and subconsciously, we recognize evil when we see it. Sometimes that evil is manifested, and I don't mean that in the new agey way. I mean, you can see symbols and signs of that evil in how people dress and how they act and how they look. And it's okay to recognize that. But it's not enough to just recognize that. When this is a common denominator in some of the most hideous acts of violence in our country, what are we going to do about it? How does this radicalization pipeline actually work? When these young men become involved in these furry fetish forums and consume furry fetish pornography, what is it about that leads them to commit hideous violence? Because that's not a coincidence. It's too specific and a constant in all of these cases to be a coincidence. So what is it about this furry fetish subculture, and how do we stop it?